Welcome to the ThroBak Guitar Lounge podcast, episode number 57.
57.
This is going to be a no F-word show. We're going to have no reference to any kind of a brand of guitar that would be maybe like a bumper on a car.
What are you even talking about?
Well, I think people are had enough of a certain brand and a certain talk of a certain brand that has been
we should have taken that one off the wall.
Oh my God.
Head.
What is going on? Didn't you get my memo?
You said we were going to talk about it, and I guess you talked about it without talking about it.
Well, maybe that should be a metaphor. It's sort of lingering, like the sword of Damocles above our heads.
Okay.
That
we
too
can't
much?
we can't get rid of it. Whatever it is.
Well,
okay.
we're not going to talk about it.
But since for episode 57, we have a special treat.
Yes.
We're going to play a 57 Les Paul Special.
Oh wow, a real thing
from the real thing from the ThroBak Guitar Lounge player grade collection.
This is one of the ones that we keep in the vault. Is that right?
Well, sort of more like a bottle. It's here. Well, it's around. Could be on the wall. I might have it at home. I don't know. It's been messed up, but it's pretty cool. We're gonna play that. We'll play it against, and we will compare it to the 56 Les Paul Goldtop that we played last week. So you'll get a little A/B comparison with the difference between the bridges. You know, the 56 has a Tune-o-matic, the 57 has a wraparound, and get a little A/B comparison.
I just had an idea for a line extension or just a brand extension. We could have a ThroBak, like a restaurant type thing. We could have all the guitars on the wall.
Oh, okay.
We could have sandwiches named like at the.
What do we call
Paul Hudson? What would
we could call it the Soft Underbelly Cafe.
There we go.
Commemorate ourselves. Paul's here.
Ask Paul if he had a sandwich that was named after him. What type of sandwich
Paul,
would that be?
what would your sandwich be?
I don't know. I'm on the spot here, so.
Let's see. It would be called the.
Well, what would be in it? What would be in it? What type of sandwich would it be?
Would it be pastrami?
Pastrami, maybe?
I don't even know what pastrami tastes like. It definitely would not be tuna salad. That's disgusting.
See, it would be pissed off pastrami.
Pissed off pastrami.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Well, he'll have to work on his sandwich there. He's actually a very jovial sort of person.
We always had
that wasn't fair for me to say.
But Paul's always going out for interesting menu items, so I thought maybe he'd have something.
Well, maybe he'll have something. Paul, do you think you can work on something by the end? Maybe later in the show we'll have that to look forward to. Okay. So, do we have mailbox items here for the start of the show?
There's a couple more comments from the last show, and then I have one news item that I saw. It came across my Instagram feed that I thought
it's not F related, is it?
No.
It's not an F style.
No.
News item.
No,
okay.
Nothing like that.
Okay, good.
Okay, but one of the comments from the last show we talked about have vintage gear and the tone become a something just for the wealthy.
Okay. Yeah, sure. The theme of last week's show.
So someone said people buy boats, cars, campers. High quality is more expensive in every aspect of life. Actually, I'd venture that vintage tone and guitars isn't out of line with a hobby like golf or fishing.
That's a good point.
Or any other kind of like hobby requiring an initial investment in.
Yeah. Yeah, and think of all the great stuff you get from the guitar, right? You get an opportunity to improve at the instrument over time. So you get that with golf. But with golf, is there going to be an audience for you with the golf? Not likely.
For a select few. But
for a select few. And really, it's just something to like fall asleep to on a Saturday, right?
If you're watching it or playing it?
Even if you're watching
playing
it. Yeah. Well, the playing it's not bad. I'm not putting it's a pleasant, I'm going to get wrong with my quotes here. Who was it? Mark Twain, did he say it was a good walk ruined?
Is that his quote? It sounds like something he'd say.
Golf is a good walk ruined, something like that. I don't know, but I like golf. Okay, so, but room to improvement with the guitar, to improve personally with guitar. The ability to maybe entertain others with it and make a few bucks, maybe.
Maintain brain function, maybe.
It's actually very good for that.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, it's not really something you can do throughout your life. I mean, Keith Richards, look at his hands.
He's still doing it.
He's still doing it, even though, obviously arthritis is a bit of a problem with him. And you have the benefit, too, of have this collectible aspect to it with the instrument itself that pretty good chance it's going to hold its value at least over time. And, kind of an outside chance that you might make a little money off of it.
Mm-hmm. Or you could hand it down
to
the next generation.
So really, yeah.
They're so inclined.
That's a good comparison. How is it? I'd say it's better than golf, wouldn't you?
Well, they're different. They're different, but yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy both.
Okay.
And then this person commenting on the tone, it said the tone from that 56 Les Paul is very reminiscent of Freddie King's tone in the 1950s. Freddie used a 56 Les Paul likely through, and I will not mention the name of the brand, but a Tweed Deluxe in the day.
You can't.
Said your P90s hit the tone. They thought it was very good.
I thought he used a concert as well, which is also a 410.
Is it?
And I know there's pictures of him too with a 54 wraparound Les Paul.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
As well.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
that
it is definitely a Freddie King, tone. So, okay, is there more items here?
The news item of the day that I just came across my Instagram, I saw it this morning, that the Hofner bass, the Hofner Musical Instrument Company, has been saved from bankruptcy and bought by its GEWA, G-E-W-A Music. And then the German firm Thomann is going to be a major shareholder, and the two of them will work together to sort of put new life into the...
Now, what does GYGGA? Do you know anything about?
I don't know much about them, but it's that Thomann will handle kind of sales in Europe, and GEWA will do the rest of the world.
Okay.
So it said at the end, what was the word here? The iconic 5000-1 bass will remain, or / bass will remain in production with 24 staff members also retained. But there are going to be some changes to the operations. They intend to keep on producing violins, but Hofner will no longer handle, I don't know what this is called. What it's called, white wood.
White wood is unfinished.
Unfinished? Okay.
Yeah. Read that again.
Okay, so they intend to keep on producing violins, but Hofner will no longer handle what is called the white wood.
Okay, that means that they're going to have them made. They're either going to finish them at Hofner,
okay,
but the actual raw crafted violin before it's finished, which is in the white, is going to be crafted, I assume, somewhere in China. There's a huge violin making
they probably get their
capacity there.
Get your economies of scale doing it there, and I guess finish it in Germany.
Also, Eastern Europe as well.
Eastern Europe.
Possible they're coming from there as well.
It's a Thomann will handle all European distribution, while GEWA will deal with the rest of the world.
What were those running? Because I know we've seen those Beetle basses at NAMM, and they look real nice. They look well made.
Because when it came out that the company was going into bankruptcy, I did a quick search that they had one on Musician's Friend. I think they wanted, with a case, that the Beetle bass, I think they wanted, just over $3,000.
What was popping into my mind was they were around $3,200.
I think that's about right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have one, but that would be a cool thing to have. So it's good they're still making those. Is there more?
That's all I have.
That's all you have. Okay, so then we're going to go right into the pickups of the week. And the pickups of the week, again, we will just we will do the we're going to play a 57 Les Paul Special here. It's been refinished. And actually, now that I think of it, it's not super representative. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. But the neck pickup I had to rewind. And the bridge pickup is original, but I did I did put Alnico 3, vintage Alnico 3 magnets in it which is more typical. You wouldn't be very unlikely to find these thicker Alnico 3 magnets in a 57. Might happen, but that's more typical of a 52 to 53 Les Paul. But I will get that guitar. You'll get your bass, and we'll play this Les Paul Special from 1957, and we will compare it to then we'll follow up with the 56. They do sound distinctly different, and it's more than just the pickups. Wraparound bridge, Tune-o-matic, maple top with the standard, and no maple top with the special. But okay, we'll be right back with that. All right, we're back, Matthew. You can continue to play a little if you want. That's fine. Okay, let's show the
guitar now.
Okay, so this is my again from the player grade collection here at ThroBak. This is a very red refinished 57 Les Paul Special. It does still have the serial number, so we're sure it's a 57. Has the original plastic and stuff. I did replace this bridge with a compensated bridge. I do have the original, but this is one compensated bridge that Mojo Axe makes, and I really like them because they still look like a vintage. Mm-hmm. They sound really good, and they're help with the intonation quite a bit.
Did you have that refinished, or did it come?
It came this way. And it has a little bit of the headstock here. I don't know. You can see it, but maybe right there, there was a little sort of split in the headstock that I glued and reinforced with someone actually reinforced it with a dowel, but it didn't work. And then I kind of discovered that the hole they drilled in the side of it to reinforce it was really just filled with wood putty. So I actually fixed it. But this is not your sort of pristine example of an unmolested Les Paul Special, thus a player grade. But it has the original frets, plays really great, bridge pickup, covers and everything, bridge pickup original. Although I did swap again with the thicker A3 magnet. So this is kind of a cool opportunity to hear A3 against the A4 of the 56 Goldtop. And again, Alnico 3 and a vintage P90 from the 50s, they're immediately identifiable because they're not an 1/8 inch thick. I think they're 3/16 thick. They're physically thicker. And I think it was actually a strategy kind of initially to boost the height of this bridge pickup with the magnet, because these things sit in the bottom of the cavity. So started that in 52, 53. That not all of the 52 and 53s are going to have that A3, but if you have a pickup with it, a P90, it's likely to be a 52 or 53 guitar. Okay, so we'll play this. Oh, we're playing it through Marshall also. And we'll show that Marshall. And again, the settings. I got this wrong last week because I couldn't really read it, but let's try it again. Presence 2, bass 8, middle just a little less than 5, treble 4, high volume 3.5, normal volume 4, channels jumped.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna go back and Matthew, here we're going to do the Rorschach Riffs. No, not Rorschach Riffs. We're going to do the pickups of the week, and we're going to try to play something different. We'll see how it goes, but in our effort to give a little musical variety. All right, you ready, Matthew?
Ready.
1, 2, 3.
Nice.
Okay, we'll switch to the other guitar and be right back. Okay, we're back. Now, Matthew just said before we got back here, he said, this one will probably be a little brighter. This is darker. Now,
I'm surprised. I thought the maple top would make it.
Yeah, but there's a few differences here. This has jumbo frets.
Okay.
The 57 has the original frets, which are the thin frets. That has a wraparound bridge, which is definitely snappier. Mm-hmm. The 57 does, the Les Paul Special. And also, this is a tip, but another difference. This guitar, the Goldtop 56, has 10 to 46 strings. The Special has 11s on it. And the reason I put 11s on it is I found that if you have a guitar that has those smaller frets and you just bump up the string gauge one, it plays easier. You don't feel the sort of like the shorter, smaller frets so much. It plays a lot easier. So you do have that difference as well. But the Special is around 7 pounds 6 ounces. It's very light. This is 8 pounds 10 ounces. Okay. The Goldtop 57 Goldtop, which you would think would make this brighter, but the other difference is you have the A3 magnets in that, A4 in the neck for the Special, and the neck pickup in the Goldtop here 56 is A2. Which is definitely a woollier sound in the neck. Okay. Ready, Matthew?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Different.
They're way different.
Yeah.
Way different. I was surprised, really.
When you were playing there, I had an idea. I said, I guess we can really continue this on with some of these other pickups, but we should do, we'll have a 54, rather say 56, 57, and 58, 59, 60, 61.
I don't have all those. I think we continue this theme. I don't have a 58 guitar, though.
Well, that might change.
Not 1 week.
You never know.
Not for episode. Maybe for episode 158. Like the song says,
you never know.
Maybe someone will donate like a 58 Les Paul to the show within the next year, and then let's see, it have to be 2 years, and if that happens, then we can make it a 2.5 years. We can get it on show 157.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a chance.
Well, it's 2026, so we got time.
Okay. we're going to do a lightning round Guitargument.
Yes.
Matthew has the questions.
They're good questions.
We have the answers, we think.
So we'll have multiple Guitarguments today.
Okay, we'll put these guitars away, and we will be right back with the Guitargument. All right.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're back. Should we check with Paul? Paul, let's see what Paul's up to. He's Paul, tell us what you're doing here. You're at the Leesona 102B. But first of all, the most important question is if you come up with the name of a sandwich yet for the future ThroBak soft underbelly lounge. Well, no, sorry, cafe. No. There's a Hard Rock Cafe, and this would be what the Blues Lawyer Soft Underbelly Cafe.
The soft underbelly, I got it. Hard Rock. Okay.
You don't
Easy
have
listening jazz cafe.
The Thunderbird.
Not only the Thunderbird. Oh, well, okay. The Thunderbird. I don't know why. Maybe he's got. Well, okay. All right.
What kind of bread would you have on the Thunderbird? Would it be a brioche?
Rye.
Okay. What would be in the sandwich, Paul?
It would be turkey, cream cheese, lettuce, tomatoes,
aioli,
and
kale.
Avocado?
No.
What? Kale?
No. He said aioli.
Aioli. Yeah.
It did not say aioli. I'm not Canadian.
Okay. Okay. So
aioli.
Did you say? Okay. Well, we got the fixing in the sandwich there. I don't. I've already forgotten them, but forgive me, Paul.
Dry,
okay, Paul. You were
tomato.
making. What are you making there?
Turkey.
I'm guessing ESG 102B since this is the 102B machine.
You are correct.
All right. I think he's gearing up for an anticipated Collings order. They order quite a few of the ESG 102Bs for their I-35 LC Vintage, which is a standard choice for that guitar. Okay, Paul. We will come back to you for the Rorschach Riffs. Okay?
Coming up soon.
But I'll be here.
Okay, all right. Let's see. We're going to go back to the Guitargument, Matthew. Okay.
Need your timer?
We got the timer. We'll do 5 minutes. And right now.
Ready? First one?
This is a lightning round Guitargument.
I'll pick the first one. Okay. The last tube generation. Will today's guitars be the last generation that regularly gig with tube amps?
Wow. Okay. You want to start that?
I think they are. I think they will be. I think that modelers are going to be the future. It's easier. And you're probably, when you go into these places, they're not going to know, they want to be able to control, the volume, and everything will go through the PA.
Okay. So I think that the other side of this is that it will actually become more retro cool than it already is to have a tube amp.
But will you even be allowed to use it?
What? Why? Because it would draw too much power?
Yeah, no.
But the volume's not controllable?
Yeah, the volume isn't controllable.
Well, no.
There's no room for it.
They'll have
too loud.
There's solutions for all that. But so it'll be part of the retro sort of uniform to have a tube amp. Excuse me. And so that tube amp, I think, survives because of this. Because the other thing is, if everybody's got the thing, part of the show to go see Joe Bonamassa is the gear, right? Well, if your gear's like invisible, someone's going to clue in that if they're doing a retro act, that the retro gear is going to be part of the show.
But even Joe Bonamassa is beta testing a Tone Master. Well, we're not going to say who it's from, but
maybe it's an F-style Tone Master.
No F words.
So I say it always has a presence. And by the way, the reason I say this is, I'll give this as an example.
Because you own too many tube amps?
No, yeah, I got to find a way to get rid of them. I guess we'll combine the cool down with this. so the history, my history is that for, I don't know, was it like 20 years? I was a commercial photographer. I took photography and film and video in college. When I started photography, people were still, the best photography, most sort of highest budget stuff was still being done with view cameras and transparency film. Mm-hmm. Most of the stuff I did was with that. All of the process, there were no digital processes in college. Although now you can get better results digitally. The film processes now have kind of taken, they're now art processes. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of, the old process is elevated in status to being an art sort of media. That will happen with a tube amp is my prediction.
Just a serious
the serious musician in this
will keep them.
There will be a certain group or cohort of musicians where, given the style of music they play or the sound they want, the part of the whole show and outfit and sound will be vintage gear. That's my prediction. If it's not already happening right now.
You choose one then.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay, Matthew. The end of guitar magazines. Question: Have YouTube channels completely replaced guitar magazines?
Well, do you want me? What side do you want me to take?
You decide, Matthew.
I mean, I'd say other than Vintage Guitar Magazine, which I really like, and that ThroBak advertises in.
That's true.
Every month.
Yes.
I think that has. I think they're never coming back. I mean.
Actually, I'm not even going to take the other side. I think it's absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
I think they're done. Except vintage guitar is a very, 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 not peculiar, but very specific in that it, the fact that it's about vintage guitars kind of de facto means that many of there's going to be a diehard readership that want the magazine because it's kind of a vintage platform, media platform at this point.
But they do a very good job of covering, new albums, artists. They cover a lot of ground in that magazine, equipment and reviews of new stuff that's going off. But it's
we'll disregard that.
Yeah,
we need more.
We need another one. But I think that's true.
By the way, the end too. We tested when we started doing magazine ads. How many years ago was that? Quite a few years ago. We did the classic test, and the classic test is you do a giveaway. You run an ad. Right. With a giveaway, and we had a giveaway of mail in this coupon and get a free set of ThroBak strings. Far and away, the best response was from Vintage Guitar Magazine.
Yep.
And so, kudos to them.
The influencer effect question: do guitar influencers help players make better gear decisions?
I'm going to say.
Think it's a wash?
I'd say it's a potential no, because the question is always with a gear influencer: is the gear part of the income stream for them? Have they been given the gear which they will sell? And then is the gear, they're usually very straightforward about it. But if you make the magazine parallel, looking back on it. Were the guitar player picks of the week, editors pick awards, at all associated with ad revenue? And the answer is almost certainly yes.
They would always have an ad.
Yeah, they'd have an ad, but also too, the sort of unwritten part of it is, if you are an advertiser in a magazine and you have a new product, and you want something more than just the press release that you've given to every magazine. You want a review, and you're a major advertiser. The likelihood of getting a bad review in that magazine, I think, is nil. Don't you think?
Yeah, I do.
I think that is kind of with. So the question is then. Is that level of influence kind of affecting the gear. Now again, someone's got to take a side of this, but you'd like to think it doesn't affect the sort of influencer market, but on some level it must.
Some of them though are so big that they don't rely on the reviews.
I guess actually that was sort of our assertion with the F word stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah,
is that they don't actually need the gear reviews necessarily for content. So they are kind of inoculated in a way that magazines aren't or weren't. But that magazine thing too really struck home with me years ago when I was doing commercial photography. They had a thing in town here called Parade of Homes thing, and they would pick the favorite parade of home, the one that would get the showcase thing in the local sort of magazine. What was the local magazine? It was a nice magazine that did locally, that kind of showcase houses and interior designers and architectural firms. And I would photograph very often the winner of these contests, but I would always they would always know who was going to win ahead of time. And they would tell you flat out it was rigged.
Was it just Grand Rapids Magazine, or was it?
Yeah, that's right. It was Grand Rapids Magazine. Yeah. So they say, they knew it was rigged. It was all attached to ad dollars.
Sure. Well, all those lists that those magazines do. That's always.
Yeah. So the kind of like the thought is, it's a magazine. It's a journalistic. It has a sort of like a journalistic ethics go into these reviews. No, I don't think so. No. Okay.
Do another one?
Let's do another one. Is this my turn here?
It's your turn.
Okay. The Great Guitar Paradox. This sounds very similar to, we already did a PAF paradox. Okay, we'll read it. Say? Are guitar players spending more time researching gear than actually playing guitar?
I'm guilty of this. But I've vowed that I am going to practice more.
Well, okay. Maybe that's...
Because you just get, you turn on YouTube and you just start following stuff, and then it's like,
Yeah, but think about it this way.
You need to practice more.
I think it's what is it? Is it a virtuous cycle?
Virtuous or vicious?
No, virtuous. So what is it? The eagle eats the fish. The
bear eats the eagle.
The eagle, being an apex predator, creates fertilizer for the fish, and the fish eat the microbes or whatever, little plankton eat the fertile, the waste product.
Are you trying to do the Lion King cycle of life or something?
Yeah. So think about it. You have the virtuous cycle of the gear, the quest for gear, spawning more interest in the guitar, which encourages more playing and more practice, which in turn develops the ability of the player, which in turn creates more enthusiasm for a wider variety of tones and maybe even playing, guitars to play on, and creating more gear purchasing. It's a positive feedback loop, right? And ThroBak's part of that. Can't discount any of that. That's not a paradox. That is well, maybe it is. It's a paradox. It's positive. Absolutely. We don't want to get in the way of any of that.
Well, we don't. But at the same time, I do find I tend to spend too much time maybe looking at stuff instead of like, okay.
Yeah. Now, I did this last night. Okay. So I didn't know when to, but I mentioned this on the show, but I will mention it now. You mentioned tube amplifiers. I have purchased a 1981 Princeton Reverb from Guitar Center. They had their Memorial Day thing where you get 10% off.
Okay, used.
They had one that was a good price, even without the 10% off. I purchased it. I had it delivered to my local guitar center here. I went to pick it up. I took it out of the box there because they put it in some enormous box, and with all sorts of packing. I took the packing off, and the tubes had not been taken out. One had fallen on the inside of the amp.
That's not a good sign.
Well, it was nothing that appeared to be broken. So I needed to get back to work. So I brought it to work. I turned it on. The light came on and it made no sound. Then I realized that the rectifier tube had been put in wrong because the little plastic pin that orients it had been busted off.
Oh boy.
So I figured that I had to put the right position for that. And then the cable for the speaker, one of the leads had been pulled out. Put that back on, turned it on, and it just made a loud buzzing noise. So I brought it back and I said, this thing is not working. It makes a loud buzzing noise and it's completely unconnected to the volume. You're not going to get anything. If you put a cable on it, nothing.
Now, when you bought it, it was shipped in.
Yeah.
When you saw it online, what was the condition that they said the amp was in?
Oh, it said good. It said, I don't remember. It was good, I think. It's fairly worn, but it said operational.
Okay.
They guarantee that everything that you get used is going to be operational and functional.
Okay. But it wasn't.
So I brought it back and I said, it's not working. And they're like, the guy that was there when I took the packing off, he said, when the tube fell out, had fallen out, I realized that they probably didn't. They didn't know what they had and probably hadn't checked it out. It was his thought. And so I said, well, can you repair it? And he said, this is informative to anybody who is thinking of having Guitar Center repair anything. He said, I've been here since August and we have 2 shelves full of things that need to be repaired. And not one of them has left that shelf since I've been here. He said, if you return it, if you need it repaired, you're just going to have to return it when we can give you your money back, but it's going to go on that shelf. And I have no idea when it's going to get repaired. And then I said, do you eventually start throwing these things out?
What happens?
I said, do you eventually start throwing these things out? He said, that hasn't happened since I've been here.
So that's, so 10 months. Nothing has been...
Nothing. There's stuff accumulating on the shelf. And...
So do they have any intention of getting stuff fixed?
I don't know. I don't know. So I said, well, can you give me some money off of it? And I said, worst case scenario, this thing is going to be $500 to $600 to replace. To repair. Like let's say the transformer is just totally shot. And I said, I have someone, can you split the difference with me and give me $300 off of it? And then he said, well, the best he could do is $150.
That's Guitar Center, man.
That's guitar. Yeah. So I was very nice, but it was near closing. So I just kept very nicely repeating myself.
Did you really? Good for you.
And they eventually gave me $200 off. But the end of the story is that I was spending. I think the transformer may be fried. I think it may be worst case. I think the power transformer may be fried. I have an old Princeton Reverb output transformer, but I don't have an old Princeton Reverb power transformer, and I suspect that might be it. But the rest of this stuff, I mean, I can fix it. But I didn't really want it. That's going to, if it's a power transformer, it's going to totally neutralize my savings. The capacitors and stuff, that's not a huge bill.
But the benefit for our...
And it needed to be done anyway, given the age of the amp.
The benefit for our viewers is if they're going to see some good content of...
I am going to make a video that shows my secret process for cleaning the grill on an old Fender Silverface amp.
What about cleaning the cabinet and...
Cleaning, anybody can. Well, the secret for that is microfiber cloths. But anyway, I'm going to do a video of that. But there actually another video I would like to do is my plastic. It's literally plastic surgery on an amp.
Oh yeah, you've done some good work.
If you consider Tolex plastic, it's patching Tolex that has been torn out of an amp to make an invisible repair with the extra Tolexes on the back of the baffle board. You can use plastic surgery techniques to do this. So you use a tapered cut,
right?
And anyway, I did this with a very nice amp that I made the well, it's not a mistake. Todd deserves this amp, but it still hurts. I fixed it up real nice for him. It had like it's a Tweed, or it's a Victoria Pro that had cream Tolex. Anyway.
People don't know what you're talking about, but I'll give them the
it's one of our first
notes.
episodes.
Okay, well, if you go way back, we talk about it. But John sold the amp to Todd, our harmonica player, and it is a harmonica player's amp. Yeah, it was a harmonica. It was
modded. It has a mod in it that makes it
good for harmonica. It's a nice Victoria amp.
Sounds great with guitar, though.
Well, you should have thought of that beforehand. But you sold it to Todd, and he's never gotten over it. But you did do very good work on that. On fixing the Tolex.
I tried to make it better by, the hole it left in me. I fixed by repairing the holes on the Tolex of that amp. But you can't see it. I mean, you can attest to this. It's an invisible.
You can't see it, but the scars are still there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, we're gonna do. Are we done? We incorporated the cool down and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the Rorschach Riffs, Matthew.
Okay.
And we got to get Paul involved in this. We've got to. Paul, are you ready for the Rorschach Riffs? Yes.
I am ready.
Okay. All right. Oh, he's actually got a notepad there.
There you go. He's planning ahead.
Wow. Okay. Let me get you need a guitar this time.
I need the
this
57.
is not a bass.
We're going to use the 57 steelheads because the 57th show.
That's right. I forgot about that. It's a 57th show. You get an extra 57 bonus,
right? Which
is our very popular 57 steelhead pickups that will be in the guitar. I'll get right here. Should I just do the drum roll?
Sure. Now, is the guitar itself a 57 model?
Yes, that is a 57 reissue. Is it 2004? It's a dark back 57 historic R7 reissue. Yep, it's 2004.
2004.
It didn't come with the black plastic, but I put it on there. Oh, this has ThroBak butyrate M69 rings, made with our own steel mold. We offer them in 3 different colors, and ours. Actually, I think ours are the first ones that are made with a first generation steel mold. That using the right butyrate. There are others that were made with an epoxy mold, where they squish an actual part into an epoxy matrix, metal matrix, and those were. I don't think they're offered anymore. They were over the pond rings, and I have some. They're very nice, but the problem with that process is it makes it doesn't take into account the shrinkage of the butyrate material if you're just squishing a part into a matrix. The way any plastic part should be and is made is with a steel or aluminum mold. These are made with steel mold that we paid for. But they add to the dimensions of the finished part to take into account plastic shrinkage right, for whatever the plastic material is. So pickups, cut rings that are made with those, like I know they had to do this with the over the pond ones. They're fractionally smaller, so they actually kind of have to heat them up and stretch them. So either that or just accept the dimensional difference. So anyway, ours are super good repros that we've offered, and I think may still even be the only ones that are offered in black that are butyrate. Okay. Matthew, you are going to do here. Let's unmute your guitar there. You are doing another drop D.
Everything. I've got the low and high E's.
Is it a little loud there? Do I need to? Let me see. Do you need any? I'll turn you down just a hair. Okay.
It's open D, so open The high and the first and sixth string are tuned to D, but everything else is just standard.
All right. I don't know if I like the sound of that, Matthew, as far as like, I feel like you're strained from the core,
you gotta
core expectations of the Rorschach Riffs.
Well, you'll know these songs.
Okay.
It's not like you're gonna not know them.
Let's see. Okay. Well, Paul, are you okay with? Oh, you're clearing your throat. Sorry, Paul. I cut in there. Are you okay with a Rorschach Riffs that involves drop D tuning, Paul?
Yeah.
Paul's scowling. Okay. All right. Well, he claims he'll know these, Paul. So, Matthew, let's get to your Rorschach riffage. This is number one again. 4 riffs.
4 riffs.
Identifiable.
Yep.
Hit songs, Matthew.
Yep. Oh, another well-known.
And you're going to play them with a gusto and
enthusiasm,
enthusiasm,
unknown
articulation that is your signature.
Right.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
You got to think which is the first one now.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. Go ahead. Okay.
That's 4.
All right, Paul, are you going to need to hear? I think I got these. Paul, are you going to need to hear these? And let's get a Paul. Paul, did you get any of those? Don't say them yet.
The first one and the last one, I know who they are. The middle 2, I didn't know those were 2 separate.
Oh, the 3, I think you certainly know. You actually say this song titles sometime as associated with one of our famous customers. You morph the lyric in order to take into account this customer's signature name. Okay, well, Matthew, let's do them again.
Do them again.
Here we go.
Kind of rough.
Okay, I know all. Okay.
Good enough.
Paul, we'll give you first crack at this.
Number
1. Number 1. What?
Got to start from the top.
Well, your wife likes this artist. I gotta believe. Number 1. You thought you knew that one.
It's familiar, but I don't know who it is.
Okay, I will say number 1, Matthew. It is "Cinnamon Girl."
Correct.
By Neil Young.
Correct.
Okay. I didn't realize the drop D makes these very recognizable.
Yeah. I didn't realize.
And I didn't even realize it was drop D. I mean, I think I've never really tried to play it.
I think I have way back when, but
I didn't really recognize it as drop D until you played it now. Okay, number 2 is what, Paul?
Led Zeppelin.
Correct.
Is it what name? Okay, you're right. It's Led Zeppelin. Now, name a lyric from the song.
I don't know. I'm horrible with.
Okay, it's not. It's an instrumental.
Trivia. Music trivia.
It's an instrumental, so there's no lyrics.
There's no lyrics.
The name of the song, Matthew, is Moby Dick.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the kind of.
Number 3, Paul. Did you get number 3?
No.
Okay, Paul. I'm very disappointed.
It did sound familiar, though.
It was a little rough.
Okay, I will give you a hint. Don Butler. Tone Man.
Tone Man. Soundgarden.
Correct.
What's the name of the song?
I don't know. I'm not.
It's
Honestly,
Spoon
I'm not a
Man.
Soundgarden
It's Spoon
fan.
Man. It's Spoon Man.
Oh, Spoon Man.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, 4.
Yeah, I think if 4 is Neil Young.
That's correct.
That's correct.
No?
What's the name of the song?
Okay.
Yeah, you're correct.
I don't know which song it is.
Okay.
I
now,
could probably
I'm not
sing
sure.
the song if you.
I think I know the name. Is it Ohio?
Kent State, Ohio.
It's called Ohio. The name
It
of the
is
song
called
is
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah, my hint was Kent State. I was going to say.
Yeah, but the name of the song is Ohio.
Correct.
Right.
Actually, no. Actually,
Or
someone
is it
said,
For Dead in Ohio?
that's not the name of the song. Someone said Neil Young.
Is it
It's
actually Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young?
Yes.
Okay.
It's close. It's Neil Young singing.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
All right.
different.
Okay.
I'm still kind of wrong on that.
All right. Okay. Well,
That's forgivable because you can think it's a Neil Young.
I don't know. He didn't get Spoon Man. And he says Tone Man.
Well, that's what I was hoping.
Whenever Don Butler orders anything, because it says Tone Man on his email.
Right. That
I
I
hope
thought
Don
Paul
is
would
doing
get that
well,
one
by
for
the
sure.
way. Don is a good friend of the show and throw everything throwback. Okay. So, all right. That was the Rorschach Riffs,
That's
Matthew.
Rorschach Riffs.
You're going to start musing musical.
Okay, musical musings this week. I thought I would do. I found this 45 with 4 songs on it. It's a Duane Eddy.
That's yours?
No, this came out of my in-laws, my father and mother-in-law's record collection.
They actually had that.
They had that, and it's a
What's the song?
the 4 songs are on side 1, Ramrod and the Walker.
Oh, there's 4 songs on it, so it's these are short instrumentals on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then side 2 is Mason, Dixon, Lion, and Cannibal, and all of those songs were from his 1958 release, the first Duane Eddy record, which was called, what was it called? Have Twangy Guitar Will Travel.
Yes.
Which was, that's a great record. Do you have that?
I have that on vinyl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think
buy
that's
that?
one, I think that's one of the ones. So my brother went to U of M in the 80s, and they had a great record store there called School Kids Records. And I bought that, pretty sure. I bought a bunch of Chuck Berry records and Bo Diddley records and Muddy Waters records there.
And they were all reissues.
They were good high quality reissues.
Issues at the time.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I saw this in their record collection, and I think most of us know Duane Eddy. But when I got to know
Let me
him,
see that.
take a look at it there.
There's a maple leaf on the back of this.
It's made in Canada.
What the hell's going on?
That was pressed and made in Canada. It says support Canadian, buy Canadian. It says at the bottom of that. But I thought I would do a little research on Duane because I know he's in.
This probably makes this worth more, wouldn't you think?
That it's printed in Canada.
Yeah, there's only a few people up there.
There's only a couple Eskimos and 1 or 2 people buying a Duane Eddy record. But I thought I'd do a little research on him and try to understand why he's considered such an important, or was. He's unfortunately not with us, but why he's considered such an important guitar player.
Who was his first wife?
That I don't know. That I couldn't tell you.
Who did his ex-wife marry?
Oh no! I haven't done. I did more research from the guitar angle. I didn't do the personal
I think
stuff.
that either girlfriend or wife. I think it was Duane Eddy's first wife. Married. Why am I drawing? Waylon Jennings.
Really?
Yeah.
So he was married to
In fact,
Duane.
you can.
married
Was the only? What's the song? It's Waylon Jennings' song. The only daddy who will walk the line. You know
I don't know the song. I don't know.
There's videos of him playing it in the. I think it's in the 60s, early 70s. But like and the woman playing the keyboard for it is her. Yeah, I saw some interview with I think Waylon with her, and she kind of explained how she met Waylon Jennings. But yeah, she was married to Duane Eddy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because one of the articles that I read, but they're really just Guitar Magazine articles, that talked about that he got married again in the late 70s or 80s. He was born in 1938, which is interesting because he had a guitar quite early, but then he was born in Corning, New York, went to Arizona for his 14th birthday, which would have been 1952.
Yeah.
Guess what he got for his 14th birthday present?
A guitar.
Yeah, but he got a 1952 Les Paul.
Oh, really?
So he was.
That's a good present for 1952, isn't it?
He's 14, and then he has that guitar.
14-year, yeah.
He has that guitar for 3 years. He trades it for his Chet Atkins Gretsch, the 6120.
By the way, the Arizona connection is the connection with Waylon Jennings.
Oh, really?
Waylon Jennings apparently kind of got his sort of solo career started, I think, in Phoenix. And I think that's what the connection there.
No, was Waylon, because I know Waylon Jennings played with Buddy Holly,
Yeah,
right? He was
yeah.
at the famous
Yeah.
concert in Wisconsin. But was he one of these guys playing? Because
I don't know.
Duane was playing as a teenager in clubs. and
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't know. I don't know kind of the exact story. I think it goes something like this: that he kind of had a budding career in Nashville. It amounted to nothing, and he was like, kind of like, oh, forget it. And somehow wound up in Arizona, Phoenix, and kind of started a following there as a local act, and kind of parlayed that into a career that he wasn't able to get through Nashville. I may have the story totally wrong, but I think that's it. And that's how he kind of met Duane Eddy's wife, is because they were both part of the the Arizona music scene.
So what I discovered doing my little research was, he obviously was predated a lot of our guitar heroes. Our guitar heroes, he was their guitar hero. So people like Dave Davies, the Kinks, George Harrison, Ritchie Blackmore, Brian May, all these guys looked up to him.
Yeah.
But Brian May had an interesting thing he said about it. He said his style was based on bending the low strings on the guitar, which today, doesn't seem like too crazy, but at the time was revolutionary. Like nobody did that.
I know. Which
is amazing.
There's a yeah. Actually, I got the record, and I'm kind of like, it's like, it's not bad, but it's not like this is like earth-shatteringly like amazing.
But at the time, it was.
Yeah.
When people heard it, they were just,
I know he was a huge sort of hit.
Yeah.
As an act, yeah.
But that when you listen to that first record, and I've been listening to it this past week, it is pretty exciting. Like all the songs have this feel to them, and then they sent the tapes to Los Angeles. They recorded in Phoenix with Lee Hazelwood, who wrote a lot of the co-wrote a lot of the songs, who was a disc jockey in Phoenix, and then they were overdubbed with the saxophone and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I can't remember his name right now. But
is it Boots Randolph or no?
I didn't write his name down. No, it wasn't.
What is going on with these musical musings, Matthew?
I'm sorry. There's too much information. I don't
who Boots Randolph is.
I don't know. I'm going to learn.
You've watched
today.
Benny Hill, haven't you?
Well, that's to me. That's what I call that saxophone style. To me, I just refer to it as like Benny Hill saxophone.
Yes, Boots Randolph.
Is that who did
wrote Yakety Sax? Don't come back.
It's a Yakety Yak or
I think it's called. I don't know if it's Yakety Yak.
I thought it was Yakety.
I'm probably getting this wrong too again, but I think I think the song is called Yakety Sax, or that's the, or maybe that. No, sorry, the album. My dad has the album.
Oh, really?
And I think the album is called Yakety Sax.
But the song.
And you're right. The song is called Yakety Yak. Don't come back. Or Yakety Yak.
So the first record that have twangy
it's
guitar.
not Bruce Randolph on there.
No.
Okay.
No. I can get the name for you, but it's
and
not.
then Floyd Kramer on piano.
Yeah.
Who's the master of the pan flute? Paul know this. Paul, are you still there? Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
he wanted out of here after the Rorschach riffs. Okay,
Said enough.
Yeah.
So
who's the master of the pan flute, Matthew? Someone's going to know this.
All I'm thinking is Roger Whittaker, but I know that's Sam Fear, of course.
Yeah, so you have Duane Eddy, you have Boone Randolph on saxophone, you have Floyd Kramer on piano, and you have Zamfir on the pan flute. Who's missing? Who's the guy that wears the hat and sells the guitars? Spanish hat.
I don't know. I can't think of that. You're getting too far away from Duane Eddy.
Getting the perfect band together for this.
Is the Floyd Kramer? Is that the that famous sort of
double stop
country.
plink country.
Yeah.
It was a Nashville session ace for years.
Sure.
Before you saw him on UHF
infomercials.
Well, they never. The records showed up on them, but he didn't.
No.
But they would be, he'd be playing gospel tunes or whatever. I think my dad has those albums too. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I've taken it way off track.
But the first record that you purchased, but that record spent 81 weeks on the charts.
Wow.
And then
It's good. It's just not super. It's funny that it's like super exciting at the time.
Yeah. And then he went to England in 1960, was a big act, and was voted by the New Musical Express the top act.
Wow.
Elvis Presley came second in 1962.
Wow.
So he's one of these guys that was. Then I forgot, but do you remember The Art of Noise redid Peter Gunn?
Yes.
He flew over. They didn't just like sample that. He played on that. He recorded with them.
I actually learned one of those songs. Yeah. I'm trying to think of how.
Yeah. So he
played on the Peter Gunn theme.
The Art of Noise remake.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah. Actually, I do remember that.
So they didn't just like take it and sample the old stuff. He went over to England. He recorded, played his part, and then they put that into the song. That won a Grammy too for best rock instrumental in 1986. So career was interesting. He was always around. He had his ups and downs, but
give me the guitar. I think I'm going to see if I can channel. Oh, it's drop D.
You got to use a different one there. You can't use this one unless you just retune it real fast.
Hold on. I'm just going to see if I can do it.
Go ahead.
Just to prove that I think I actually have that album. Well, I do have the album. Okay,
let's see. Part.
Let's see here. Okay, maybe you've listened to the record there, right? Maybe you can tell me what song it is.
Okay, go ahead. One of these ones that's on this. Is that Cannonball?
I think you might be right.
I know you're almost there.
I need to recreate this.
You don't have a Gretsch.
Where else are you going to get this sort of variety of music? Huh?
All in one place.
I think that's right, isn't it?
The one note sounded off.
Yeah, I'm getting some wrong there, but I'm going to keep us from getting copyright struck on that.
Yeah, there you go.
I was doing that on purpose. Okay. Paul's back. What was it that we were going to ask him?
I can't remember.
He's probably off camera now. Let's see if we can. No, he's gone. He's gone. All right. Well, he cleared out of here. Okay. Well, all right, Matthew. Is that it for your musings?
That's it for the musings. Thank you, Duane, Eddy. Thank you for showing us what to do with those low strings. That you can actually do something fun with them. Play along there. What key is that? That's in the funny key too. Is it the theme song? Is it like B flat or something?
It's a half step down from D. Is that D flat?
I guess it would be D flat. C sharp, D flat.
Okay, that's it, Matthew.
Alrighty. Thank you for watching.
All right. See everybody next week.
See you next week. Stay tuned for more.